Hello, boys and girls. This is story time, and today's story is about angry bears. Now, you may ask, why am I telling the story of angry bears? And a short while ago, my girlfriend and I had decided, we should go for a walk. And so I very, protectively said, we should probably not walk in the woods right now. And she, of course, said, because there are bears, and drug dealers, and drug-dealing bears, and angry bears. And she says, angry bears? And I said, yes, angry bears. She says, what do you mean, angry bears? And I said, bears that are angry. And so she asked, well, why are bears angry? And I responded with, because of fish beer. So, now you know why I'm speaking the story of angry bears. This is the story of angry bears. Once upon a time, in a Bearville, somewhere in some place, at some time, probably not long ago, but actually, probably quite a while ago, because bears have always been angry, there was a bear that enjoyed the summers eating fish, as most bears do. And come the fall, he was going to go into hibernation. But this particular bear had a brilliant idea. He was going to take a bunch of fish and store them in a jar all winter long, so that come the spring, when he woke up from his lengthy slumber, he could enjoy and indulge some salmon. So he, gets rid of that dry, parched feeling of a winter without food. And so he doesn't wake up like, I'm so hungry, I want food. And he doesn't have to go wandering around groggy looking for the first food of the spring. So he put a bunch of fish in a jar and kept it up on his shelf. And right next to the tuna and the peanut butter and jelly. Because he liked PB&J because they're good. And so come the spring, this particular bear woke up from his slumber. And, he's like, I have fish in a jar next to the PB&J. So he goes up to the cabinet, opens up, pulls out the jar of fish, and he drinks it, because it's kind of a slurry. And it's amazing. Without him realizing it, the fish had actually fermented in a closed jar and become fish beer. And the bear was fascinated by this. He loved it. He gulped it down. And then it quickly dawned on him, I'm out of fish beer. So this made him very angry, because now he longed for more fish beer. However, he was without fish beer. So he went all summer long eating fish. I want fish beer. I want fish beer. But of course, it takes about all winter long of slumber to derive fish beer from fish in a jar, which the bear neither had time nor the patience to wait such time, at least not awake. So the bear had to go all summer long without fish beer, and this made him very, very angry. However, come the next fall, the bear had an amazing idea. It was quite brilliant, in fact, almost more brilliant than the original idea of keeping fish in a jar. He was going to keep lots of fish in lots of jars. So he gathered lots and lots and lots of fish before he was going to take off for his slumber nap, and then he put them in all of his jars. Only he had more fish than he had jars. So he went to all of his neighbor bears, and he asked them, can I have all of your jars? And they looked at him puzzled. Why do you need our jars? And the bear replied very excitedly, I'm making fish beer, and fish beer is amazing, and I need jars to make fish beer. And so, of course, all the bears were like, this is an interesting idea. What is fish beer? And so he told them this is a miraculous, concoction that you take salmon, you put it in a jar, and you keep it in a jar all winter. When you wake up, it's amazing. And so all the bears were like, well, gave him a few jars, but they wanted to try this themselves. So they kind of hoarded their own jars. So they went out and they grabbed the last few fish in the rivers and streams and such, and put them in, and then they all fall asleep. And then come the next spring, all the bears woke up, and all the bears reached for their jar of fish next to the PB&J and tuna. And then they all gulped it down, and they were all amazing and happy. It's like, oh, this is amazing. This is a brilliant idea. That bear was top notch right there with that idea. Oh. And then all the bears quickly had the realization that, crap, We just drank it all, and they were all very angry because they were now without this amazing concoction. And so then all the bears, all the time, all summer long, are all angry. Like, stupid fish, you're not fish bear. Can't wait for the next fall. And that's why bears are very angry, and they're very top-notch guns ready to go because it's like, time is too slow for them. They are angry. They want now. They want fall to come now so they can fall asleep. And of course, time flies when you're asleep. And they can instantly concoct fish beer because they fall asleep. And so many number of months pass by, and fish beer is there when they wake up. It's an amazing idea. However, it's not enough time to do so in the fall or in the summer because they're not awake long enough. And so now all the bears are angry all the time because they are without fish beer, because they gulp it down immediately when they wake up. And that's why they look really kind of like sleepy-ish and dopey and such whenever they wake up from their slumbers, and they got their tongue hanging out, is because they're actually drunk. That is the story. And then, of course, bears become very angry about midsummer when that buzz kind of kicks off, because fish beer is actually quite potent, and it lasts. They got a few weeks out of it, but for the most part, they're angry, and that's why they will charge you if you try stepping on their land. And they're very angry because of fish beer. Now, one such little side note here that my girlfriend here in blue, that kind of blends into the wall behind me, brought up is that there's one great flaw in this, and the fact is, bears do not have opposable thumbs, thus they are incapable of screwing on a lid of a jar. And so, of course, I brought up the very, very persuasive point that, well, despite the fact that they do not have thumbs, according to her, of all people, why would you believe her, octopus are able to open a jar, and they have neither thumbs nor fingers or teeth. And the reason why bears are able to screw in a jar is because they have teeth. And so if an octopus lacking teeth, well, they have a beak, but lacking teeth and any appendage other than their tentacles that just get stuck to stuff, can open a jar to get crabs, I'm pretty sure a bear can open a jar or close a jar to contain fish. And so I think it's quite possible. And then she brought up the idea that, well, bears don't really have a bear mart anywhere. They can go pick up jars. And, well, no, they don't actually have, glass jars that you and I would probably think of as, jars. They probably most likely use dried up old honeycomb, containers of beehives. Like they always look like Winnie the Pooh's always trying to get, and they always have honey in them. And, well, eventually when the bees move out and they make a new home or something, or something goes in like the winter and freezes them all to death. That dries up, it hardens, it freezes. It's kind of like honey. Whenever it gets really cold and it's the last little bit and it's just enough that it just kind of freezes solid. Same concept. All the hives dry up and they become hard, and they're like jars now, bear jars. And then she brought up, well, wouldn't it kind of decay or melt or something with all the fish that is now changing into an alcoholic beverage? And I said, no. It becomes dry hard enough. But enough with the side notes and reasonology here. But the true story is, bears are angry at all times, except for when they wake up because they're drunk. But anyways, that's my story.
And you are silly at all times.
She's sillier. The end.